Delhi government has unveiled its draft electric vehicle policy 2026 to 2030, laying out an ambitious roadmap to tackle air pollution and boost clean mobility in the national capital. Now, with vehicular emissions accounting for nearly 23% of Delhi's pollution, the policy aims to accelerate EV adoption while strengthening the support ecosystem. Now, under the draft, electric cars priced up to 30 lakh rupees will get a full exemption on road tax and registration fees till the year 2030. Additionally, petrol two-wheeler registrations will be banned from April of 2028. Remember, also new three-wheelers must be electric from 2027. In addition to that, there is up to 1 lakh rupees worth of incentives for electric cars linked to scrapping old vehicles and purchase of new EVs within 6 months of scrappage. Electric two-wheeler subsidy is also available for up to 30,000 rupees initially and 25,000 rupees incentive for electric auto rickshaws. The expansion of charging stations and battery infrastructure across Delhi is also on the table. Remember, the policy also proposes phased electrification of school buses and a complete transition of government fleets to electric alongside a large-scale push for charging and battery swapping infrastructure. Authorities say the plan is linked to the right to clean air with a strong focus on cutting emissions and improving public health. The draft has now been opened for public feedback before it gets finalized for rollout. Well, joining me to discuss this is Ankita Patwa, Environmental Manager, Foxconn EV, and Arun Malhotra, Automobile Industry Expert and former Managing Director of Nissan India. Ankita, to you first. With the new EV policy, will it significantly reduce Delhi's air pollution crisis, or will the environmental benefits actually depend on how India generates its electricity and quickly pivots to cleaner electricity production rather than just phasing out petrol and diesel cars?
Thank you for having me here. But I think to your question, the switch to EVs is not the only solution. Vehicular emissions contribute towards 23%. The rough average is from 15 to 39%.
Yep.
So that is not the only solution to shifting. Even if we go, and I think the biggest environmental concern, particularly with Delhi, has been the AQI, which has been poor, severe. Also during winter, it becomes near hazardous.
Yep.
So even if we go to 100% adoption of this new changes or policy amendments that are being proposed, even with 100% adoption, you're looking at a 15% reduction from the current AQI that you're looking at. So
Okay.
from a 217 AQI that's today in Delhi, you're looking at 151.
Okay, so a step in the right direction, but definitely far from being enough, if I hear you correctly. But Arun Malhotra, if EV adoption rises sharply in Delhi, is there going to be a meaningful jump in India's sort of reduction in dependence of crude oil, especially given the sky-high oil prices right now? Do you think this policy is going to be enough to sort of at least reduce India's oil dependence, especially from the Gulf regions?
Thank you for making me join this discussion. First of all, what Ankita mentioned is clearly the pollution cost from emission from vehicles is 23%. So you have to also focus on other areas. The second part is Delhi is still just 6 to 7% of the market. So if you need a reduction in the import bill, the least which could have been done is for NCR, because the free flow vehicles between Faridabad, Gurgaon, Ghaziabad, Noida to Delhi, you can't have this policy applicable in Delhi, whereas the free flow vehicles coming from other parts with the UP or from Haryana. So to that extent, the policy has to be thought through. I believe it's a step in the right direction. Plus, one of the challenges this policy has been when they are talking of two-wheelers, from 2028 only petrol to be banned totally. Today, 2/3 of the two-wheelers are motorcycles, and there we have virtually no motorcycle available in the EV space. And whatever is available is at 2.5 lakh rupee price as compared to entry point 80,000.
Right.
So all these factors will have to take in. There's a lot of granularity which is required.
Right.
One is step in the right direction. Then how do you implement? Second is incorporate NCR and take up with other challenges and look at it in a very judicious, balanced manner.
All right. Ankita, for the consumer specifically, I think, one takeaway of this draft policy is that now, for once, the focus isn't really on the supply side. The focus is on demand side, especially with all the incentives now in place, at least as far as the consultation paper goes. Now, we are seeing a gradual sort of, doing away with PLI-like schemes which were beneficial to automakers. And now the focus is shifting squarely to the consumer. The incentives given in the policy, are they strong enough financially to at least motivate consumers to look at electric as a viable option?
That's a great question. Just based on data, incentive is what will drive mass adoption. You have seen it historically happen with economies like US. You've seen it happen with China on larger scale. So yes, this is a step in the right direction, but do I agree with the incentives are enough? Probably not, because we're still way behind in terms of infrastructure. And I think the resale value of a used car, the anxiety of a resale of a used electric car would probably create more consumer anxiety. The lack of infrastructure on charging capacity, I think, is also what needs to be considered for the incentives to be enough. Yes, it's a good start from the FAME 2 that was initially announced. The benefits have reduced, but I think there's still not enough to support the consumers.
Okay, still not enough to support the consumers. Arun, final question to you. Now, of course, you mentioned that Delhi accounts for about 6% of total vehicles which are sold in the country. But if you just look at cars alone, 40 lakh cars sold in the country, a little more than that, in fact, and 6% of that comes to about 2.5 to 3 lakh cars being sold in Delhi alone. Now, with this sort of pivot to electrification, do you think manufacturers and the overall supply chain, is it geared enough to sort of meet this surge which is likely to come if this policy does go into action?
If you look at it, there has been a ascendancy on sales, and March 2026 was an inflection point. 22,000 electric vehicle cars were sold and about 2 lakh two-wheelers EVs were sold. I believe in each of these segments there are 5 to 6 major players. So clearly, I think the industry is geared up as far as production is concerned. The only challenge remains is when you have continually things like rare earth metals or lithium and our relations with China, we're still dependent on the chain till the production-linked incentive and advanced cell chemistry starts kicking and we get the benefit of it. So that is the moot question at this point of time. But clearly, I think the industry, as far as production is concerned, is clearly geared up. I don't think that is a challenge at all.
All right, no challenge as far as the supply side goes. Well, let's leave it at that. Ankita Patwa, Arun Malhotra, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here with us on News 9 to give that perspective to this developing story.
Thank you.
Thank you.